y'all, here we are in the shop again today. I took in a repair at the farmer's market yesterday. A young man came up and explained that he was a chef and ran a small catering business, and he had bought a nice presentation style cutting board at a discount place. And when he got it home, he realized that the board inside its packaging had a linear crack. I'll show you that here in a minute. And so, if you can see here, we have this open crack here that travels the length of the board. It's not all the way through, but it is still in the shrink wrap. So our plan is to elevate one side to open that crack a little bit, and we're going to put some glue in there, and then we're going to put it in the panel clamps long enough for the glue to completely cure, and then we'll sand it and refinish it. I will set the camera up and I'll get into it. Thank you. While I'm setting up this camera, let me encourage you, if you're not already, go ahead and like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. I'm trying to grow my channel. Right now I have just over 100 subscribers, and I've got somewhere less than 50 watch hours. And as you all know, to grow your channel and make it go anywhere, you have got to have lots of subscribers and lots of watch hours. So if you could please help me out there, I would really appreciate it. Alright, so essentially what I'm doing here is I'm opening up this cutting board, which I thought was walnut. It's actually acacia wood. There was a sticker on the inside of the packaging on the front of the board. I'm removing the feet here so that I can take the board out of the package and get a better look at that linear crack. What I discovered was that it was hanging by a thread on the other side. It was essentially completely broken. So I put a dowel under the front side really close to the crack. That opened that crack so that I could get some glue down in there. I used Titebond 3, which is the food safe variety of Titebond wood glue. It's waterproof, and I glue all my cutting boards when I make them with the Titebond 3. It works very well, and it, it dries slower, but I think it actually cures about the same rate as the other two Titebonds. It makes a really good joint. So I'm fiddling with the sticker, trying to get that terrible adhesive off, and that worked, and then I wiped it down a little bit afterwards. And what I am using there, I don't know where they came from. They may have been part of packaging for something, but I've got these little like a tongue depressor or a popsicle stick shaped things made out of very thin fiber reinforced plastic, and I've been using those to do glue ups and things because they're just so handy for spreading glue and whatever. So what you hear there in the background chiming was my laser. It's completed its job, so I'm going to go over and check that out as soon as I'm done narrating the video. Alright, so we're cleaning up and trying to do a neat job with this and not get glue all over the place, because I'm not at this point really impressed with the quality of the material of this board. In the inside of it, it looks like there's an acacia veneer, but there may be a different material in the core of the board. Alright, so we're down. We're getting ready to clamp up, and at first we tried these panel clamps, and ultimately they just turned out not to be the right thing. They didn't close over the cutting board the way I had thought they were, and they're very fiddly to work with. I like them for gluing up panels, but in this case, because the panel was over an inch thick, it was just the wrong tool for the job. But at the same time, love the panel clamps. So I'm trying to do my thing here, and it's just all kinds of trouble trying to get this thing to lock into place and then get the other end set so that I can get it screwed down, and it's just not happening for me. And so we fiddle around with that and fiddle around, and here in a couple of minutes you'll see that I carefully swap them for a set of parallel clamps, which I can't say enough good things about. I bought the Bremen parallel clamps from Harbor Freight because parallel clamps are expensive, and I wanted to make sure that if I was buying them, I was getting something I was going to use. Well, I use them a lot, and I will buy more of the same brand. I think 731 Woodworks does an entire video on the different brands and varieties of the parallel clamps, and I think that's probably where my decision to go with the Harbor Freight variety was, because just the cost of those things anywhere else is out of my budget. Alright, so we cleaned up and we kind of got this thing a little bit, but then when we go to cinch it down, it's not going to work for us. So yeah, and you'll see it slip here in a minute. Alright, so there's parallel clamp 1, and here's parallel clamp 2. Alright, and so we're getting it tied down. Get it tied down. See, I'm fighting the glue getting dry at this point. So I wanted to have it cinched down. But then when I go and set the parallel clamps up on the table, see I'm at an angle there, I come back and fix that in a couple minutes when I notice. Not that I think that it hurt anything at all, but and it certainly wasn't moving. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about the Bremen clamps, because they even do what they're supposed to when I'm not. And this is so it's the next day, and we've come out to the shop so we can take a look at this board. So, the crack sealed up just fine. There was very little residual glue left. I could feel it. You couldn't really see it. This end, there was none in the little hold pocket in the pocket on the other end. I could feel a couple of beads of glue, so I went ahead and knocked those off. And I could just feel like there was, like, where you put the board in the clamp and then you get the little beads that rise from the joint. And so I wiped those down. I could still feel some. So I took my card scraper here and I gave it a little working over. And then, I knew the joint was there. I could feel the joint, but you can't see the joint. And that's really what you want when you do a cosmetic repair. You want to know it's there. You don't want anybody else to know it's there. And certainly my client is a chef. He doesn't want his guests to come up to get some prime rib and look at that board and say, oh, hey. So I went to work. There's that other sticker. And this one, I don't know, they had to have used some nuclear grade monkey snot or something to put that thing on, because it was not wanting to come off. I thought I was going after it with some Goo Gone. but ultimately I didn't do that. I just scraped it really good, and then I took a bleach wipe and wiped it off. I didn't feel any standing grain after I wiped it down, which isn't actually normal. Even a brand new board, when it's got some moisture on it, you should feel the grain a little bit. So hard telling what they finished it with at the factory, but I gave it a coat of mineral oil, as I do all cutting boards, and it turned out just fine. So we're just finishing cleaning up here, and when you get down to it, you start scraping stuff, and then you run your hand over it and you feel a little something else, and you go after it and you feel a little something else, and you go after it and you feel a little something else, and you go after it. Well, eventually you just have to stop, because perfectionism dictates that you just keep going, but there comes a point where you can't do any more. But I thought it cleaned up really nice. It's a good repair. It should last for a very long time. And so, I gave my client a text message, told him it was done, tell him what the process was, and waiting on him to get back with me so we can, set a meeting to deliver his board. But I would certainly take in more repair work if that's, the extent of this one did not scare me away from doing it, and so I'm very pleased about that. It's another aspect of my business I hadn't really thought about until my client just appeared at the farmer's market and said, "Hey, can you fix a cutting board?" Sure, well, maybe. One of those situations where, well, I know how to make cutting boards. Maybe I can repair this one. Alright, and this is just me running my mouth, and I'm going to stop here.